Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Muslim Marriage Podcast, where we talk about healthy relationships from a Muslim lens. I'm Zara Hassan,
And I'm AJ, and we've been married for 3 years now.
and let's get started.
Let's get started.
Okay. To be honest, this is going to be our fourth attempt at this episode, so just bear with me if I laugh too much.
I had to use the washroom too many times.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be a question coming out of the Muslim Marriage subreddit, and it's a sister. She asks, "How did your feelings change after the first meeting?" So the sister says, "Assalamu alaikum. I have been talking to a brother for a few months, and we recently met in person. We agree on almost everything, and those who know both of us well see us being compatible. He is a lovely person from what I have seen and what I've been told by friends and family close to him. The only problem is I don't feel particularly excited, inspired, or attracted to him. Has anyone ever met their future husband and felt meh, but then grown to love them with time? We seem compatible in every other way, so I'm hoping my feelings change." That's the question.
Well, first of all, I don't know how I can possibly answer that question because I don't see any future where I'll have a future husband. So I think it's all up to you.
Okay, all right. So if it was a wife, you were looking for a wife.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so we just interchange all the pronouns.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
what are your thoughts?
Okay, well, I mean, like, it depends. I think it's different for men than it is for women
Okay.
because men are usually visual
Okay.
creatures, right? The smallest thing can attract a man in a woman. But women, they're more emotional, psychological. They wouldn't normally get attracted to a man to the point of wanting to marry him just from his looks.
Okay.
They'll need to scope out like his personality, his intelligence, and things like that, you know?
Yeah.
So there is a possibility, a world
Mm-hmm.
in which a woman, if she decides to push through with the marriage,
Yeah. Grin and bear it.
and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There could be a time in the future where she does fall in love with him over time because of his actions.
Okay. Um. So that's very interesting. I think you're right in that there is a slight difference between the genders, and everything I'm saying is based on my experience, right?
Sure.
From what I've seen from talking to clients over the years. But based from solely from what I've seen, I think you're right that there is a difference between the two genders in terms of what it is that they select for,
Mm.
and that on average, I would say that men were probably more visual than women. But I don't think I think that attraction is important for both men and for women. So I think her question has two parts to it, two dimensions to it. So she's saying, the only problem is I don't feel particularly excited, inspired, or attracted to him. So we're gonna separate that as two parts.
Yeah.
Let's say that she has some baseline level of attraction.
Okay.
Right? So when I say baseline, I mean enough attraction that it's possible for you to be married to this individual.
Yeah,
And
like she's not repulsed by him.
Yeah, and enough attraction that it's sufficient for you to lower your gaze from, because that's what the point of attraction in marriage in Islam is, so
Yeah.
that you won't be as tempted by other people.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say that baseline level of attraction is there. So what's left is that she's not particularly excited or inspired by this person she's been talking to for 3 months after their first meeting.
Apparently, he seems basic.
She's saying that this gentleman, the feeling that she got from talking to him was just kind of meh.
Yeah.
Meh. I would say that is what is normal. And
On the first meeting, of course.
yeah, at least even for the first couple
Because nerves get in the way of the guy's comedy and humor. He cannot shine because he's nervous. He's a nervous wreck.
Okay, all right.
Do not read into that too much.
I'm not reading at all. I'm reading a lot into this. But what I've noticed is that there is a typical progression for what would probably be healthier relationships. And from what I have seen from my experience and from other people's experiences, is that healthier relationships begin as meh.
Yeah.
Right. So that when you meet this individual and you talk to them, there will be enough of a connection to sustain a conversation.
Yeah.
Right. So that it's not really like pulling teeth. Right.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever met somebody and talking to them is just excruciating?
My dentist.
Okay. I'm talking. All right, you're a dentist, but also other people. Like when you speak to them, it feels like you are the one who's carrying the conversation, and you get the sense that almost they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Right. Like they're there because they have to be there, but they don't actually want to be there.
Prisoners.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Conversational prisoners.
Aha.
There
Way
we
to
go.
tie it in.
Yeah. There you go. But I've got bars.
Prison bars. Okay.
All right, I'll stop. Okay, but like that. So if the conversation is not really flowing and there's like too much effort that's going on, at least from your part, then that connection really isn't there. But if there is a somewhat baseline level of connection where the two of you can talk and there is enough that you get the sense that both of you want to be there and want to have this conversation. Sort of like somebody who, like a really good friend.
Yeah.
Right? Or even a sibling, like a sister. Just somebody who you talk to in your life, and talking to them is fun. Or at least is not boring.
Yeah.
Right? So that level of connection. However, what she described here that will often be missing in those healthier relationships in the beginning is the big feelings, the big sparks, the chemistry, they call it, the feeling that it's almost overwhelming that you
talking about passion.
Yes, right, that's the word. So that excessive passion that you feel that you sometimes feel, or we see in the movies. In healthier relationships, at least in the beginning, that will be very muted.
Yeah.
Very muted.
It should be.
Yes.
Because passion is not the point of the talking stage.
If you want to speak from a pragmatic sense, absolutely. But when we're speaking from the motivations of the person that you're speaking to, if the person that you're talking to is a genuine individual who is interested in you for genuine reasons, and they are, we'll say, they don't really have personality disorders, that's what it's going to be like to talk to them, similar to what it's like when you speak to your friends.
Yeah,
right?
business.
Yeah, it isn't really there isn't huge passion when you're talking to your friends. It's more a sense of comfort and calm.
Camaraderie.
Exactly. I like that. However, if you are in a relationship with somebody or in a talking stage with somebody and you're experiencing these huge highs, these really big highs, and you can't stop thinking about them, and when you talk to them, you get really tongue-tied and really nervous, right? Because of them, not so much because of your baseline level of insecurity that we all have, right? Not just like when I first met you, I was nervous simply because, you know, we've been speaking for a month and now we're going to meet, and and
I'm exceptionally handsome.
Absolutely. There are butterflies. However, as soon as you started speaking, I started talking to you, I calmed down.
Yeah, right? You realize this guy's not all that.
It wasn't. Okay.
I can handle this.
It wasn't. All right, I'm not going to say that. No, it was because it felt familiar. Does that make sense? Because we had already been speaking for a month, right? Yeah. So we'd already established this level of comfort between the two of us. So that meant that comfort, when I could hear the voice coming out of your face, I was like, okay, it's the same person.
It's the same voice.
It's the same voice and the same person.
Yeah.
So it calmed me to a point of comfort, and all of those huge nerves went away. Right?
Exactly.
So it should be, and then to be honest, because I know what I know at that point, I had done the work to know what to expect. It felt meh. It felt blah.
Of course.
In a good way.
Yeah.
There wasn't the anxiety.
Yeah.
All right. So the chemistry, there's chemistry, but it wasn't the huge sparks, the huge.
Of course.
This is very hard for me to articulate.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's making some kind of sense.
You're doing a great job of it.
All right. Thank you.
Keep it up.
Thank you. Shukran. But so that's how she should expect it to go, as long as there is that baseline level of attraction.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Guys, there's one thing you can do
Yeah.
to immediately increase your attractiveness
Okay.
to the woman. You just gotta be funny. Open up with a joke, right?
Yeah.
Example, you're like approaching the person and you're like, hey, how are you? My name's AJ. I am thinking about becoming a baker.
Oh no.
First and foremost, I don't like this whole he shed, she shed about things, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to bake a pastry, color some of them blue and some of them pink. And I'm going to call them gender roles.
Oh God.
And I'm going to make sure they're not split down the middle.
Okay. All right. So those jokes are the reason I stayed.
Yes.
And definitely why the reason some others might not, but I was specifically selecting for those jokes. I
Tell
love
those kinds of jokes.
Okay.
So that you can filter out the bad people.
Okay.
The ones that don't like those jokes, the ones that leave, you're not going to like them down the line.
Yeah. All right. I mean, they're wonderful human beings. It's not everyone's punny.
You survived. You survived all the trials.
I did.
Yeah, I ran you through the gauntlet of just terrible jokes.
Okay. All right. And I could punch back in a good way.
Yes.
But hopefully that is understandable. That when you first meet somebody in a healthy relationship, what you're looking for is a baseline level of attraction enough to lower your gaze, right? And a decent amount of connection enough to be able to hold a conversation in a way that the two of you nobody feels like they're pulling teeth, and it feels like that both people want to be there.
Yeah.
Once those two are established, that huge passion, huge feelings are actually a negative, because if people who are genuine and sincere in their intentions with you are not going to be evoking that. So the people who are going to be evoking that are the ones who are intentionally trying to make you attach to them faster.
Yeah.
And they're doing things, there's many different techniques, but they are doing things to try to make you feel more seen.
It's called love bombing.
There you go.
Yes.
So to me, in general, what they do is they try to make you feel more seen, more accepted than what is baseline or acceptable. So for example, when you first meet these people who are doing the love bombing, they'll ask you a lot of questions about you, and particularly about whatever it is that they deem to be your vulnerabilities. So for myself, I was previously divorced, so I would be able to recognize that I was being love bombed by the individuals who would ask me seemingly empathetic questions about my divorce. A lot of them. They would want to know a lot of detail. And in answering the questions, they would take my side heavily and say, you deserve so much better. And literally, I've met this person maybe an hour in. And they're like, you deserve so much better. You're an amazing person. You're an amazing woman. You should be treated better, etc.
Yeah.
Using really big language. And alhamdulillah, because I knew what I was looking for, I understood how these techniques worked. That didn't really work on me.
Yeah.
But I could see this is something that commonly works on people. So if you're finding that you're feeling really big feelings, it could be that that might be something that's being intentionally evoked by your partner. So be a little bit suspicious.
I knew a little bit about the love bombing standard, right?
Yeah.
And I knew to avoid that.
Okay.
And I remember one of the things that I think won me over to your side was when I had 2 water bottles, right? And I kept mine for myself. I was about to hand you yours, but then I stopped short.
Okay.
And I spilt the water on the floor, all of it, just drained it on the ground. And I'm like, you can get water for yourself. You're a strong, independent woman. And I think that worked out very well for me because I'm still here.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I'm saying that because I didn't fully follow, but I feel like you're going to explain to me later on, inshallah.
Well, I spilt the water all on the ground.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that I can encourage the roots of our marriage.
Okay. All right. So that's so when you are feeling these really big feelings, really big nerves, and feeling a little bit on edge, in general, when your sympathetic nervous system is a little bit activated and you're a little bit in that fight or flight state, right? A lot of people can mistake that for passion. What it actually is that you might be being manipulated.
Yeah.
It could be that you're not, but there is a chance that you might be being manipulated.
Yeah.
So that big chemistry, those big sparks is actually a negative in the beginning when you're first meeting somebody. What you should expect, and what is a positive is that, again, that almost boring level of familiar connection.
Yeah.
It should feel like you're talking to a good friend.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
Now, there are some people, I don't mean to cut you off, I apologize.
That's okay.
There are some people that might not recognize the sparks, right? What you can do is, before you go out on your date, just have a big can of beans.
Okay.
So that if there are sparks, you'd be very, very, you would know.
Because of the gas?
You would know.
All right. Okay. All right. We're too old for these jokes. Okay, so if we go to the second half of her question, where she's asking about attraction, now that's a whole different case.
Yeah.
Right? So if you meet somebody and you've gotten to know them somewhat, or even before you've gotten to know them, that attraction just isn't there. Right? That's perfectly fine. It's not everybody is for everybody. There's no reason to feel bad about it personally, or for the other person to feel bad about it. So there's going to be plenty of people who are not attracted to me and plenty of people who I'm not attracted to. That's just human nature.
Yeah.
Not everybody is for everybody, but everybody is for somebody.
Yeah.
Right? However, you should not marry somebody you're not attracted to.
I wouldn't have chosen you if I didn't find you attractive.
That's beautiful. Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise, right? Again, this is one of those questions that I had for myself, because I did come across quite people who were otherwise well vetted, and I was in this young lady situation quite a few times. However, I just was not attracted to the other individual.
Yeah.
And after doing the reading and learning and knowing what I know, I learned that's a very bad idea. Those marriages don't work out.
Yeah.
And if they do work out, when I say they do work, I mean, if you do get married and they last a little bit, they're very unhappy.
Yeah.
Simply because the other person knows you are not attracted to them.
Typically, you want to cut your losses as early as possible before you guys get married or have those conversations, because the earlier you cut your losses, the less losses you'll have.
Yeah, simple. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
The math is mathing.
The math is mathing.
But for this young lady, I would have asked the question of, well, did you have pictures of each other? Like, that's why I believe there is a hadith. I always reference this, but I have read it, over a decade ago, so I don't remember it word for word. But the advice within Islam generally is to look at the person. And in order to gauge whether or not you're actually attracted to them. Yeah. So the question would be is, when you're entering into a talking stage with somebody, did you have a picture of the gentleman? Make sure you have a picture of this person, and they have a picture of you. If you and your family are comfortable with it, video chat, like do a video call. Yeah. Right? Because first of all, catfishing is a real thing. And second of all, a picture is not like, when somebody's in a video chat, that's closer to what to expect from real life. Yeah. And it's important to at least understand that you're attracted to each other before you start developing expectations. Expectations is probably a better word than feelings, right?
That's usually what they say, is that a picture is worth 1,000 words. The second half of that is video is at least 30 pictures per second.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But exactly. So you need to try to do video, right? Or if video is for whatever reason not possible, try to meet quickly, right? When I say quickly, I mean to be able to gauge whether or not attraction is there. Yeah. Pictures if you can, videos if you can. By the time you meet, make sure that this person is somebody that you are relatively attracted to.
Yeah. So the normal reaction to meeting each other for the first time face to face is like, oh, hey, hi, how are you? It shouldn't be, oh my God, what the heck?
Okay, subhanAllah. Yeah, that's happened to me before.
Mm,
Very nice gentleman.
yeah.
I won't say what it was that it was, but I did have that reaction, and my brother also had the same reaction,
Hmm.
and we both looked at each other when we met this gentleman. Tabarakallah, very nice brother. But it's very. I'll just say that it's important to video chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to video chat. It'll save people very long drives.
Hmm.
So hopefully that answers this young lady's question.
Hmm.
To give a little bit more context to this topic, I think we should review. I know we talked about it in the talking stage, but the first episode in some detail. But I think we should start review a little bit of how feelings, right? How feelings will tend to progress in a relationship, right? So that people have some sort of idea.
Sure.
What it was, what we described in the beginning is usually how it goes. I'll talk about what it was like for me and what I hear from clients. Usually it will be good connection in terms of I feel like I'm talking to a good friend of mine, or I'm talking to, my brother, or somebody who I feel comfortable with. So comfort. Nervous system is not fully activated. So there isn't that big anxiety of, oh my gosh, and checking your phone 1,000 times a day. But I would check, instead of checking my phone 1,000, maybe I check my phone 50 times a day, because there was a level of consistency in the way that you communicated. I didn't have to check my phone. And because there was a level of sincerity in what your intentions were with me, I never wondered what your intentions were. So everything was just baseline level of comfort. It's sort of like when you're in school, right? You're in school and you're coming up on graduation, right? And you're doing well, and you know what your grades are going to be. Your teachers have already told you, and it's just a matter of sustaining that level of effort. Then you're going to graduate and get your degree. There's no anxiety there.
I would have the way I would have explained that is you're at school and you have your timetable, so you already know what to expect.
Yeah.
But then you go out for your second period class, which just so happens to be science. And there he is, the school bully, asking you to help him bully someone else.
In science? Okay. I thought there was going to be a chemistry joke there, but...
Why?
Okay, never mind. But so that level of just consistent effort moving towards this goal that you both are moving towards. So there isn't any nervous system activation. And over time, especially after you get married, in general, the more events that happen between the two of you, the more problems that you have to solve together, the more shared history that you have, your feelings grow over time. And I always give the analogy of that in a healthy relationship, in a healthy marriage, your feelings are closer to a plant. It's sort of like a plant. So it's something that with nurturing, with time, with some effort, they grow in a consistent manner. So that in the beginning, if it begins as a seedling, and towards the end it'll be a huge redwood, right? But on a faster, a faster scale. But it's something that grows with time rather than big boom explosion, and it's there from day one with these huge feelings for somebody who's essentially a stranger, right? If you have those huge feelings, there's a chance that you might be being manipulated, right?
There could be a chance that you're manipulating yourself.
That absolutely.
Some people are in love with the idea of a wife.
Okay. Yes, definitely. So this is one of the prototypes or the archetypes of individuals that we talk about in coaching, of people who are in love with love and don't really see you as an individual and are looking for somebody to help them fulfill this fantasy, right? So yes, this is another area where love bombing can happen. Yeah. So it's really good that you bring that up, because there are many reasons for love bombing other than just being manipulation. But that being the most insidious one that can lead to the worst outcomes. That's the one we talk about most. In general, if you're experiencing really big feelings on your end, it could be because of some sort of attachment insecurity. If you are maybe rebounding, like there could be things on your end. Yeah. That even though your partner is sincere and genuine, just being in a relationship might be something that triggers in you a whole bunch of anxiety because of previous history, attachment insecurity,
Mhm.
etc. Things that you need to work on and heal through yourself.
Yeah.
But if you are able to somewhat neutralize that, right? Or are able to separate out, okay, so this might be because of me, and on my end, this person didn't actually do anything. If you're able to somewhat neutralize that and pick apart what's on your end, but you're still feeling these really big feelings, this is when you start suspecting I might be being love bombed here for one reason or another.
Yeah.
And this is when you start to look for other red flags consistent with manipulators,
Yeah.
right? Which we talked about in quite some detail in the episode on red flags.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's going to be a parable.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a parable to better explain it.
Mm-hmm.
There are two brothers.
Yeah.
One is younger than the other.
Uh-huh.
The younger brother, his name is Scotch.
Okay.
The older brother, his name is Duck.
Okay.
Scotch keeps getting divorced.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Scotch keeps getting divorced.
Uh-huh.
He's not able to have much of any attachment to any of his wives. Duck sees this
Yes.
and says, I'm going to be the stronger brother. I'm going to be more attached.
The Tate brothers.
The Tate brothers.
Okay, I get you.
Exactly.
I get you. All right. So I think we've lost half our audience.
Oh, don't worry about it.
But it's
I plan on losing the other half near the end.
the other we have other jokes?
No, like the episode's going to finish.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. So hopefully, inshallah, we were able to answer this individual's question. So the short answer to her question is, if there is a baseline level of attraction, enough for you to lower your gaze,
Yeah.
then yes. Then over time, this relationship can grow. Love is something that grows. Attachment is something that grows, and passion is something that grows later on as your marriage progresses with shared history.
Yeah.
However, if that baseline level of attraction or even that baseline level of connection is not there, and only you can assess that, then I would walk away.
Yeah.
Right.
Bear in mind, you should lower your gaze in all cases, but it's especially important if you lower your gaze to those that are actually attractive to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like the parable would be in that example of the plant, right? In order for the plant to grow, you need to have a seed, right? So if there isn't even enough attraction, like to symbolize like a seed level of attraction,
Yeah.
or a seed level of connection, you can't. A rock won't grow.
Yeah. And the best way to find the best seeds is to lower your gaze.
Absolutely.
You won't be able to find a good seed if you keep looking up.
That's beautiful. I like that. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna trademark that and put it somewhere. Yeah.
Copyright. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Copyright.
Yeah, copyright. Yeah, or trademark or whatever you want to call it. It's fine, but just listen.
I'm just gonna claim it. That's it.
Yeah.
So then, so I think we covered everything. Is there anything you would like to add for this young lady?
No more jokes.
No more jokes.
Yeah, I'm flat out of jokes. That was not a joke.
But it was.
No, I know you're looking for a punchline there.
Yeah.
It's just it was a regular sentence.
What about advice? We're all set for advice.
Brings it back to the prison.
Okay.
The sentence.
All right. So, in terms of advice, do you think we answered her question sufficiently, or is there anything that's missing?
Yeah, I would say, like, honestly, weigh the pros and the cons. You know, especially with regards to getting married to the guy. It sounds like, based off of her question, that's not someone that she met on some dating app.
No.
Is like an actual friend of a friend, or friend of a family member, or something like that. So, because he's apparently been vetted and he's a good guy, I think she would have better chance with him than she would with a guy who she finds attractive but might break her heart down the line.
So you just disagreed with everything I said throughout the whole episode.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, it's up to her.
Control, copy, delete.
It's all up to her.
Okay. All right. My advice would be that it depends. If there is a baseline level of attraction, proceed forward. If that baseline level of attraction doesn't exist, You cannot grow a plant from a rock.
Literally, yeah.
So then I would walk away
Mhm.
because the way that and we did a whole episode.
Yeah, if you're not attracted to him at all,
That's what I'm
there's
saying.
no point.
That's what I'm saying, right? We did a whole episode about attraction. I forget which episode number it is. I think
Probably
it was-
number 5.
yeah, how important is attraction or something it was called. And we went through it in a lot more detail. But in general, there's the downsides of being married to somebody who you are not attracted to is number one, that attraction is unlikely to grow. Nothing is absolute, but is unlikely to grow based on my experience.
Yeah.
Those marriages generally don't work out.
Yeah,
Number two, the other person will know that you're not attracted to them.
eventually.
So you not only are you doing harm to yourself, but you're also doing harm to the other person's mental health and their status, their self-esteem. At least those two reasons, if you are not absolutely not attracted to this person, walk away.
Yeah.
If you are enough attracted to them, at least that seed level of attraction, then move forward.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think that's it. That's
Move forward, live long, and prosper.
What are we doing? Do you know how to do the hand?
The Spock thing?
Yeah. I'll see you do it better than I do. Okay. So that is everything for this week. Jazakallah khair. If you made it to this long, we really appreciate all of you. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. If you are listening on any other podcast format, please give us a review, a 5-star review, inshallah. We would really appreciate it. If you're a young woman and you are using the dating apps and you are tired of using the dating apps because they are soul-crushingly exhausting, I offer a free webinar. It will be free for just a little bit longer. But so far, our free webinar teaching women about dating app strategies that actually work. So please check that out. You can find a link on the About section of YouTube if you're on YouTube, or in the description if you're on any other podcast platform. Or you can find it on my Instagram page at Zahra Hassan Coaching. That's everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. And Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.